Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a quarantine special edition of Resident Evil 4. Now, I undertook this video on the understanding that if the residents of this picturesque Spanish village had self-quarantined and self-isolated earlier in the process, they might have avoided all getting infected with head-busting parasites. Now, this is a game I've played for about 15 years by this point, so we'll be playing on professional just to test my ability to get through this game on muscle memory alone. I'm playing with an Xbox One controller, which I didn't usually go for when I was playing back in the day, because I had the Wii version. I'll be going with the normal costume for now.
1998. I'll never forget it.
So we get a nice flashback of the cutscenes from the original games here, which I'm not sure why they'd reference, because really the reputation that Resident Evil 4 has as being the only good one is quite well deserved. The story of this game doesn't make a huge amount of sense, because you would have thought that if in case of the kidnapping of a president's daughter, they would send more than one bloke with a pistol to sort it out. But it's that's a bridge we must cross in every Capcom game. The sheer insanity of the people behind the writing. Raccoon City in that shot looked a lot like the skyline of Seattle, but from what I understand, it's supposed to be kind of Appalachian / Midwesty. So I'm not entirely sure what the inspiration they took for that was. But we know that Umbrella are, wrong uns. But anyway, here we are with our graphics that were slightly mind-blowing back in 2004 when you had them on the GameCube, but which have not exactly aged brilliantly. Leon looks as though he hasn't slept in about 3 days, but his hair is immaculately brushed, so that's something in his favour. Now, I've never been to Spain. It's not somewhere that's particularly appealing to me as a holiday destination, but I have been to much of Europe, and it's not quite this brown. That cop appears to have his beard painted onto his face. Again, 2004 graphics, and I'm sure that will protect him in the hours to come.
According to our intelligence, there's reliable information about a sighting of a girl that looks very similar to the president's daughter. Apparently, she's being withheld by some unidentified group of people. Who would have thought that my first job would have been a rescue mission?
Voyeurism is a big problem in these parts, I've heard. So I've skipped the rest of that cutscene and to get us into the action, and this is Resident Evil 4, and it's aged reasonably well visually, at least once you're in the gameplay and out the cutscenes. So as you can see, you can aim with the right trigger, and then fire with the X button in the Xbox One controller, which will allow me to pick off these crows who obviously drop treasure that they've been carrying. I suppose that's possibly a reference to Corvids liking shiny things, but I'm not sure it particularly holds that they can carry up these little treasure chests. So that's a spinal. You'll get used to seeing these because they're the most common form of treasure that you can sell for upgrades later in the game. But for now, let's go and see what the resident of this house wants, and not pull out our knife. So we run by holding down the A button, which is slightly counterintuitive, given that that tends to be for contextual commands in most games, but I'm sure we'll get used to it. So after having fired guns at random crows outside his house, this guy is remarkably accommodating of us wandering in and bothering him while he's trying to start a fire. Clearly doesn't take good care of his place, though. This is some serious damp he's got in the walls. Another case of the painted-on beard. We're beginning to see where the virus is coming from at this stage. I mean, you didn't knock, Leon, so it's not surprising that this guy wants you to piss off. Oh, nice try. Well, this gives us an excuse to show off the combat, which is not really a shooter as far as these things go. It's not a twin-stick kind of thing. You are largely trying to manage your interactions with these guys. We only have one for now, so it's reasonably easy. But as you'll see, the process is generally shoot them once to get the sort of staggered react, go and use your context-sensitive kick, and then slash them while they're on the ground, and you'll save ammunition, which, while it's not as rare as it was in previous Resident Evil games, where it would take 7 shots to take out a zombie and you only had 15 rounds of ammunition in the whole game. This is not a game that is particularly generous with its ammunition, particularly for certain weapons.
There was a hostile local. I had no choice but to neutralize him. There are still others surrounding the area.
Get out of there and head toward the village. Take whatever measures necessary to save the subject.
Understood.
I know that it's a game made in 2004, but even by 2004, people had, you know, mobile phones to hand rather than weird PDA systems. If we look under the stairs here, we'll see that this bloke has been collecting his skulls in a not very hygienic sort of way, given the number of maggots. But it's quite nicely animated, at least. So if we hop up the stairs here, we can avoid going out through the front door, and we also get a free box of ammo. And this is where the context-sensitive commands start to go a little bit cartoonish as we bail out of a glass window and don't, you know, immediately get shredded by the glass. I'm still failing with the controls here slightly because I'm not used to playing with this control scheme, but you're seeing the principle in practice: shoot, kick, slash, repeat. Although we are slightly early game, so these guys still aren't taking many shots to go down. They do react quite intelligently to you aiming at their face, though, and they do duck, so that's something. Slash this guy, slash that guy's knees, and he goes down. So we now collect the surprisingly high amount of gold that they've got on them. You won't see that from most enemies until quite a bit later in the game. This whole process reminds me a little bit of my freelancing work, where you are trying to hold off a horde for as long as possible so you can make a little bit of progress, and once you finally get rid of them, you've got about a 1 in 3 chance of actually getting any money. So over there we have 2 more crows, and I believe there's a drop that is guaranteed. I don't have a grenade, which would be ideal, of a grenade. So if I take him out when the aim stops twitching, there we go, and the other one, there we go. Yes, so the blue drops are money, and the red drops are weapons, generally speaking. There's also green drops, which are health items, but despite getting whacked in the face by a scythe earlier, I haven't managed to pick any of those up yet. But we might get lucky in these boxes. Yep, so some more money there. Sadly, we will not get to the first upgrade shop for quite a while. I'm going to use this herb now because I just need to get back to fully restored before we make any more progress. So you'll see there are some nice explosives rigged between these trees because I think they were expecting me. So if I shoot this guy, hopefully I can entice him over. No, he's just going to stand there and get a shot, which just suits me fine. Saves me having to deal with him up close. And I'm still at the point in the game where ammunition is relatively common, but if you can lure him in, you can get him to walk between the tripwires and kaboom. You don't need to do this, but I find the animation quite satisfying. So, and I think, yes, there we go. There is a bear trap there. I think there might be more coming up here as well, although I'm not certain. I can't see any on the ground. I'm not going to use my health spray at this stage, but I am going to have a quick reload. See, I'm used to the A button being fire, because I think that's what it was in the GameCube, so you might see me occasionally firing when I mean to hit reload and vice versa. So, another 1,000 pesetas. Now, I believe by the time this game came out, Spain was very much on the euro, so I'm not quite sure why they went with that, but I suppose it helps keep things relatively Spanish rather than just generically European, although this is very much, if it was going to be anywhere, it would be a sort of stereotypical representation of Central and Eastern Europe. So again, Spain doesn't make a huge amount of sense as a setting. So there we go. When they do that animation, it means they're definitely dead. We were not yet at the stage when this game came out of having proper ragdoll physics. So it was a yeah, those guys, though you might think you can shoot them, are not actually. They're just set dressing. They are there to ostensibly go and warn the visitors, the villagers that you're around. Now, I think there's a bloke in this. Yes, I see his arm. So if I turn around, he'll have a quick shout, which gives me time to shoot him in the knee. And there's only him in this level, so I don't have to worry about anyone creeping up on behind me while I do it. Yeah, slash those boxes. You'll want to get in the habit of slashing the boxes twice, although it is not a threat that has materialised yet in the game and won't do for a couple of chapters. I see there's something else to take there. We have some more ammo. So what are we up to now? We've got 49 handgun bullets stored and 9 in the gun.
Leon, how you holding up?
Bad question, Hannigan.
Sorry to hear that. I'm sending you a playing manual. Hope you find it useful.
I'll take a look at it, thanks.
So, in true Capcom style, we've demolished the fourth wall like Boris Johnson in a bulldozer, and I've been given a playing manual, but I have, as I say, played this game about 50 times through. We have the one and only time in this game I believe the binoculars ever get used is to look at our police pals who've run into a bit of trouble. Now they strung him up and put him on that fire very quickly for how long it's been since we left the car. It's also the unique time that these animations get used. You never see them sort of acting as villagers again, which is a strange omission, I think, because one of the things that distinguishes this game from previous entries in the series was that they were legitimately human. They were just different and infected rather than being decomposing corpses. So I will avoid her for now. We'll sneak around this way. So I've been spotted, so I will shoot you in the face as a nice local greeting. You also get shot in the face because I need to get past you, and you will want to... Oh, I've been hit. You will want to go and hide in here. Now, there isn't any good justification for staying in here. The game is trying to set you up with a set piece about pushing furniture in front of doors and blocking entranceways and creating a little fortress in this house, which was a nice bit of technology for the time, but given that we've just been introduced to Chainsaw Man, is not really a viable solution for the long term. However, this house does contain a couple of useful treats for us as a player. I'm going to quickly use my health spray because I think it's probably justified at this point. But we want to get the shotgun from the wall, and we want to slash open this cabinet and take the grenade. Now, there's also some treasure here, but we have some visitors at the window who I'm not keen to spend a lot of time interacting with, so if I just shoot them down, we can kick down this ladder. We'll shove down the ladder. We don't actually have much in the way of ability to climb down ladders. We can climb up them. And instead, we're going to want to head in here. If you double tap the X button, you'll kick open doors and slash this that open. And because it is an iron door, the Chainsaw Man cannot slash it down with his chainsaw like he can with the wooden doors. Now, he will still come in and want to say hello, as we see now, and he's about to cut my head off. So it turns out the professional mode is a little bit harder than I remembered it being. Knock that down, and from here we can hopefully do a bit of damage to him. So from that box we just picked up a red herb, and that means that we can use it to enhance any green herbs we come across. Mixing a green and a red turns them into a full healing item equivalent to a full health spray, so that's really, really powerful. If you can get to the point where you can add a yellow herb as well, it not only becomes significantly valuable if you're selling it in a shop, but it also becomes a useful way to expand your maximum health, which is something I'm really going to need given that I keep dying in this first horde attack. Fortunately, if you can get past this point, things do become a little bit easier, but it's not exactly kind to new players. It really does try and test you as you come into the game. So up here we get some shotgun ammo, which is highly unhelpful because I don't have a shotgun yet. Also, the jump down ladders rather than climbing down them becomes slightly absurd there, and Leon clearly just wants to break his legs. So I'm hoping that this time by avoiding the chainsaw guy I might be able to save myself a bit of hassle. So I've just restarted in normal mode because it turns out that I'm not actually as good at this game as I remembered, and I've remembered that a lot of you would get upset if I didn't rescue this dog who has got his leg caught in a bear trap. Now I won't leave him any longer to get some assistance. We pry that apart with our hands, and somehow he's able to not only walk but to sort of gamble away. This isn't the first time, this isn't the last time that we will see the dog, which is your reward for helping him, I suppose. It's not just for brownie points on YouTube. Right, so having cowardly restarted, we are now in normal mode, which is a lot easier in terms of the combat. I hadn't quite realised how difficult this is in pro mode. Despite having done it before, I did it on the Wii, which, as I said earlier, had much better controls for this sort of thing, because you literally could just point and shoot. Whereas doing this with the mouse, although it's better than moving with the analog stick, is not an ideal setup. And we just hoof these guys out of the way. Do a quick turn, and now we've got a little shooting gallery ahead of us. They're quite easy to take out, especially now that they are actually seemingly vulnerable to bullets rather than pinging off them like, firing a pea shooter at a tank. The vulnerability to the context-sensitive attack seems to have been upped as well. You can kick their heads off now in a way that they used to just get pushed back before. So I think I'm feeling adventurous. I'm going to go for taking out Dr. Salazar again. First going to go for a quick reload on the pistol, grab the shotgun, grab the grenade, grab the treasure, shoot that guy out of the window, shoot him so he leaves me alone, except he won't seemingly die, knock down the ladder, chainsaw guy is down on the ground, grab the shotgun ammo, and out we go. So, I'll quickly equip the shotgun. I reckon we can deal with a lot of these guys on the ground, rather than trying to hold up in that house, which, let's be honest, was not working very well. I've just spotted, I'm going to divert for a second to get this brown chicken egg, because they're actually quite good healing items. You can also throw the eggs as weapons. It's not a particularly worthwhile thing to do, because they only do a stagger equivalent to shooting someone in the knee, and you get far fewer eggs than bullets, so it's not a particularly worthwhile attack, but it's a nice Easter egg, no pun intended. And now it's just us and Chainsaw. So if I can shoot him sufficiently in the crotch to stagger him, I can deal quite a lot of damage at quite short notice. He does run very quickly, but he's usually easy enough to stagger if you can keep him in one place. And now he goes down. So we get a bunch of gold bars worth 10,000 pesetas, which is very nice. That'll be a handgun upgrade or two once I can find the place where that happens. So now that the zombies seem to have been removed from the equation, we can go and explore the rest of this town, and there is a little bit to find. So in this house, we've got some shotgun ammo in a box. We've also got some treasure over here. And there's a barrel in the corner that I also believe sometimes contains treasure, although apparently not in this case. Oh, we haven't got rid of all of them apparently, so the second wave have arrived. But now that there's only 3 of them, they should be a reasonably easy task to take care of. So, if I just quickly heal, and can get a full reload on the shotgun, and there we go. Single blast takes out 2 of them and knocks the other 2 down. So we have reached the cutscene. Now I'm not sure why those guys were standing outside farming when I've just killed them all, but you know, continuity is not this game's strong suit.
Where's everyone going? Bingo? Hunnigan, I have some bad news. I've confirmed the body of an officer. Something's happened to the people here.
Leon, you need to get out of there. Look for a tower and follow the trail near it.
Got it.
Right, so we are quite damaged, and so I'm going to use this remaining green herb. I'm just going to run up this tower to collect the shotgun ammo that's at the top. Not sure quite why it's there. Evidently they were using it as some kind of watchtower, but it didn't work to make them aware of Leon before he showed up. So I'll quickly demonstrate that we cannot yet get through this door with the ominous symbol on it, but we will be able to later, spoiler alert. So once I've done picking this town clean, we will leave it there and proceed to the next objective in a future episode. So we have a yellow herb here, which, as I've mentioned before, you can add 2 green herbs to increase your maximum health, but sadly we have none of them at this point, so that will have to wait for later. Now you can, if you are feeling mean, kill this cow. But I'm not going to do that because I'm nice. The cow is not evidently zombified. It does not at any point in the game come back to kill you. And also, it seems to be constructed of vanishingly few polygons, so I feel a little bit bad for it. As a result, the cow will be left be, and it can live off the remains of the humans in the houses. Anyone else just see that? I kicked that door open, and the cabinet behind it not only broke, but shattered into nothingness. If we smash open these barrels, we can also get a decent amount of treasure. So if we look at our attaché case, we're up to 21,000, which is very, very nice for this early in the game. You will want that going forward, particularly once new weapons start becoming available. Now that we have reached the end of the village fight, I'm going to find the earliest opportunity to save and leave you there. So thanks for joining me. This has been a fun experimental video while I'm all stuck inside and don't have anything else to do but record content. So if you like it, leave a like. Let me know in the comments if there's any improvements you want me to make, and I will continue with this or some other games at some point in the future. Thanks a lot for joining me, and goodbye.